Hello everybody, we're up here in North Carolina at one of the Thousand Trails campgrounds and we're doing some fishing. And in this video we wanted to cover if Thousand Trails is a scam, because we see so many people talking, bashing Thousand Trails, so many people praising Thousand Trails. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts of what makes this place good, what makes it bad, and let you make a decision by the end of the video. So stay tuned. So we first wanted to start explaining two of the memberships, but we're going to start with ours first, which is called
The Journey.
The Journey. And the Journey, we paid $4,000 for 2 years plus tax, whatever that comes to, and we are able to book 60 days out, right?
120 days out.
120 days out.
60 days out for the Encore places.
Yeah, so there's the camp, there's the Thousand Trails campgrounds, and then there's Encore.
Yeah, so with Thousand Trails, there's like 200 plus campgrounds across the U.S. And then the Encore adds another few hundred campgrounds across the U.S. And we're from Florida, and there is a ton of Encore places in Florida.
So these are all included. We don't pay any extra to book these, and we can stay at any of these campgrounds for 21 days straight, and there's no cooling down period. So we can literally go 21 days, 21 days, 21 days, 21 days.
Yeah, so you can go park to park.
Park to park.
You also get 8, I think it's called like family passes or family cards, something like that. You get 8 of them. And essentially what you can do, we signed up for the 2-year membership, so we only get 8. And what you can do is anyone in your family can purchase a family card for, I think it's like $190, somewhere in there. And they can stay anywhere with just that one card. They can stay at any of the Thousand Trails places, or anywhere we can stay, so the Thousand Trails and the Encore, for 21 days. And it doesn't have to be consecutive. So like, let's say we go on a camping trip and we want his parents to come with us. They can buy one of those family cards, but we're only going 7 days on this one trip. They can come stay 7 days. And then maybe 2 months later, we go on another trip and stay for 3 days. They can stay for 3 days. And then the next trip, they can stay for however many days are left on that one card. And so we have 8 cards that anyone in our family can purchase for $190. So that's really cool to have those family cards so you can take your family with you. Something else that we also get with our membership, which is really cool, anytime within the 2 years of our membership, we get 2 weeks to be able to stay at any of the cabins within the Thousand Trails ordeal. So like the campground that we're currently staying at in North Carolina, there are a bunch of cabins that you can rent. So like if you're not camping, like in a fifth wheel or travel trailer or toy haul or whatever, and you just wanted to go to this campground and stay, you can rent one of the cabins. Well, with our pass, we can stay anywhere. Is it 1 week or 2 weeks? I think it might be 1 week. I think I misspoke. So you get 1 week to stay at any of these campgrounds in one of their cabins, which is kind of cool. Like for instance, if our fifth wheel needed to be worked on, or whatever it may be, we can use that cabin pass we have 1 week within the 2 years. So that's kind of cool.
This is the basic camping pass with Thousand Trails. You have to choose from the different regions. You can only pick one for the basic camping pass. I chose the Southwest region just to show you guys an example. So you would have 19 campgrounds or so, I think is what it said. And then that would be $604 a year. You can add the Trails Collection. It gives you an additional 100 or so campgrounds. Takes it to about $1,000. And then you can actually add other regions. So this is their basic like starter package. What we have is considered an upgrade. Now with this one, you're even more limited than us. On the following screen, I'll show you. You can only book out 60 days, and you can only stay for 14 nights, and then you have to have a 7-day cooling off period.
So now let's talk about the pros and cons of our Thousand Trails membership, things we like, things we don't like. I'm sure we'll have more things come to mind, but for now, let's start with the bad. So the cons. One of the cons would be their website isn't really always working. And so a lot of times when you're trying to change your booking or you're wanting to book someplace, you have to hop on a phone call with them. And for someone who just likes doing things herself, I don't really like that. But I will say, when you do get on the phone with them, they are extremely helpful, to the point. They do what you need. They help you out. So that part, I mean, I'm glad that they're very helpful, but I don't like that I can't just do it by myself. A lot of places you can just book by yourself, but if you're getting into higher use seasons and things like that, then you have to get on the phone to book. The other thing that I don't like is you can't have more than 2 reservations at high use places within a season or a month.
You can't have more than 2 booked at once.
At one time, right?
And is it very clear what are high use?
Yes, yeah, it does say on the website which ones are high use. And so we're from Florida, and so we deal with that a lot in Florida because, you know, during the winter months and things like that, almost every place in Florida is very high use. So we can't have more than 2 bookings at one time, which just means we can't book anything until one of those reservations are done with. So that's kind of a bummer. But so far it hasn't hindered us too much. The other thing is, because we live in Florida and we have to stay there and travel there a lot because of our jobs as wedding photographers, a lot of the places, the Encore places, and Thousand Trails locations in Florida are booked a lot. And so it's hard to get into those places sometimes. So that's kind of a bummer. We haven't had too much of an issue so far, but it is difficult to get to do and go to the places that we want to go to. Go ahead.
So this kind of leads into another one of the cons, which is with our pass. With our pass, we can only book up to 120 days out.
Yes.
So, 4
And that's
months
for
roughly.
Thousand Trails. The Thousand Trails campgrounds, Encore, we can only book 60 days out.
That's right. Yeah.
And in Florida, there's a lot of Encore places. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Now, and both of those are included. We don't pay for them.
Right.
But like this summer, we're wanting to do a California trip and hit up the West Coast. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to be leaving in June. We can't even book that entire trip out. So
right. So we can't. It's hard to plan.
It's hard to plan really
right.
far out in advance. And then also when we're trying to book it, we're probably booking many sites. We might run into high use scenarios where
right. So you kind of have to be really flexible.
Yeah, you have to be very flexible. I mean, we're planning on probably doing some boondocking.
Yeah.
And seeing some really unique places on it, cool sites that maybe they don't have a
hookup.
Yeah, or they don't have a Thousand Trails campground around. So
yeah,
we're just gonna have to
boondock it somewhere. Which it is, just side note for that. If you go on Facebook and search in boondocking groups, I've joined so many groups that they show really awesome places for you to be able to boondock. So that's a cool resource to have. Another con for Thousand Trails would be that some of the Thousand Trails parks aren't as well kept as others. And so everyone has their own opinion of all the parks, but we've been to a couple parks that aren't as nice as others. And I think that's just part of it. But we have stayed at a few parks that are really nice and we really, really love. And then we've stayed at a couple dumpy ones.
Yeah. Like some of them have heated pools, hot tubs, really well kept areas. And then like the one we just stayed in South Carolina, I mean, it was terrible.
It was not well kept, and it was basically, it had rained the day before we got there, and it was basically a mud pit everywhere. And so that one's probably not one we'll ever stay at again unless we're just passing through and we need to stop somewhere for the night. But we've stayed at a couple in Orlando that are amazing. Like, I mean, they feel like resorts. They're so nice.
I mean, the one we're at right now, North Carolina, is really nice.
Yeah, the one in North Carolina that we're at is really, really nice. Lots of amenities. Multiple pools, a game room. They have a clubhouse. They have a grill. They have a lake where you can go fishing. basketball courts, all the sports courts. I mean, you can rent golf carts, like all the things. Like it's pretty nice.
Rundown.
Yeah, so some are better than the other, and I'm sure we'll learn more about that as we keep traveling, like especially when we go out west, because we haven't experienced any of those parks yet. So we'll keep you updated on those parks. So we've talked about the bad. Now let's talk about the good, the pros of 1,000 Trails membership. So first thing would be when we go to the campgrounds, we have a pretty big rig, a pretty big fifth wheel, and every campground that we've been to, they always have a spot for us. We have a 50 amp plug, and they've always had a 50 amp site for us, and everything's always working. We've had sewer at every site that we've been to so far, so that is a huge pro for us, because you don't want to show up and then them not have what you need. And if you show up and nothing's working, it's just a headache. And so we've been very accommodated in that area. Another pro would be every time I've gotten on the phone with someone from 1,000 Trails, super helpful. They have basically been able to do exactly what I ask or explain everything in great detail. So super, super helpful on the phone with their customer service.
This is the biggest one for me is the price.
Yes.
It's like I said earlier, it was $4,000 plus taxes for 2 years. So for $2,000 a year, if we wanted to, we could live at 1,000 Trail Parks. I mean, we can only stay for 21 days, but I mean, we basically live in Florida, and there are parks everywhere in Florida, so we could literally just.
Isn't that like $5 a night? What did you, or
if you did every night?
If you, or like 50 cents a night.
Not 50 cents.
What was it?
I don't like doing public math, but it's like it's roughly $5 a night.
Yeah, which you can cut that out.
But that's also your water's included, your electric is included,
the sewer.
So it's a
$5 a night is a really good deal for being able to stay. It's basic. I mean, it's $2,000 a year basically for us to pay rent to live somewhere, which is so cheap, which is amazing. So another pro is that anytime we've had to have a change of plans and something comes up, something happens, we've been able to very easily change the dates of what campgrounds we're staying at. So literally that day, if we were headed to a campground, we were able to change our reservation. For instance, we got a flat tire heading to South Carolina, and it turned into like an all-day event. There was no way we were going to make it to South Carolina from Florida. So we were able to change our reservations and book something in Florida that same day. And so they are very accommodating with things like that. So that was really amazing, and impressed us a lot. So overall for us, we absolutely love 1,000 Trails. We think it's worth every penny. It has come in clutch for us when we had a disaster on the way up to North Carolina and had a flat tire. We were able to reschedule, and we've done it so many times. We call them, hey, can we move this around? Can we move that around? And they're so accommodating. So for $2,000 a year, being able to stay at all these campgrounds, water's included, electric's included, we absolutely think it's worth it. We've had just such a great experience with it, and we highly recommend it.